You guys don't need to worry about me getting revenge from Diddy. I've got 3 moves that make sure he'll never be able to come after me or my family. First, I personally reached out to the victims' legal teams. The real reason he's not getting out is those buried cases behind the scenes. I provided legal funding for 7 victims who had been silent for years and brought in the top criminal attorneys in the country. Second, I bought up every potential post-release business deal he had lined up. I planned this 2 years in advance, so by the time he got sentenced and still had hope of getting out, every partner had already cut ties with him. Third, I don't just have evidence, I've got backups. This is an entire minefield that's been buried for 20 years. I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years. With testimonies from the victims, we interviewed over a dozen people he tricked, threatened, or violated. You think that's harsh? No, he destroyed other people's lives for decades. I'm just making sure he spends a few extra years in prison for it. I'm not afraid of his people, not afraid of his threats. I know he's still in there fantasizing about a comeback, but the truth is, he's never coming back.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they loved me and, just turn their back on you in a second.
Is this real life? I feel crazy. The world is spinning around me. What's happening? You have 4 eyes. I have 2 fingers.
For years, the industry seemed to treat certain moments as insignificant. Clips were laughed away, timelines became unclear, and difficult questions were repeatedly delayed. What the public saw was often presented as ordinary celebrity culture instead of being viewed as part of a recurring pattern. Now, 50 Cent's second documentary is bringing those previously dismissed moments back together, not as direct accusations, but as part of a broader timeline. At the center are Sean Combs, whose influence shaped access and opportunity, and Justin Bieber, a young star who entered an adult world long before he was ready. This is ultimately about power, silence, and how systems can continue operating without serious scrutiny when too many people benefit from staying quiet.
Yeah, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come in LA. Yeah, it's gonna be yours. So every time you come in LA, it's a little dusty, but go get the front shot.
Man.
Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come down there, you gotta, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15, you could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
Alright, 16.
You're not ready. Let's slow down. Let's slow down, Justin.
Okay.
Let's slow down, okay?
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. You're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Alright.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion?
Yeah.
So where are we off to now?
And where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go buck full crazy.
Going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you wanna do? What you wanna do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go get some girls.
Man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about.
Justin Bieber's rise was portrayed as an extraordinary cultural success, But behind that success was a young teenager navigating adult power structures with very little visible protection. Archival footage shows him appearing in environments shaped by access, hierarchy, and unwritten expectations, spaces that were not necessarily designed for someone so young. At the time, many of these moments were publicly visible but were often dismissed as unusual mentorship rather than examined as potential risks within the industry. The concern is not necessarily one isolated incident, but the repeated normalization of these environments. When exposure takes the place of protection and visibility is treated as consent, who takes responsibility for what gets overlooked?
You got people in the industry that's been saying for years, this man is having sex with underage. So now the federal government is looking at that like, yo, when is somebody gonna come forward? We got this information, this alleged information, but nobody's willing to come forward. Then they go on and say, yo, Shakur Stewart mysteriously dead. Supposed to be a self-inflicted wound. Person that had everything going for him in their life. Kim Porter, dead. Somebody's car gets blown up. This guy is walking around threatening other actors, people. Somebody got to get involved in it. If it ain't the state, let it be the feds. Somebody got to stop him. He lucky that God given him the opportunity to be stopped while he's alive, then have to go to hell and face that shit. He got a chance to repent now, change his life.
You mentioned minors, and a lot of people have been trying to drag Justin Bieber into this situation because there's a lot of suspect looking videos with Diddy and Bieber in it, and they're making
50 Cent has been making provocative comments about the industry for years, and they were often dismissed as rivalry or personal attacks rather than taken as potential warnings. Looking back, those remarks can appear differently, less like simple confrontation and more like a persistent attempt to keep certain issues in the conversation. His documentary does not claim to provide definitive proof. Instead, it revisits memories that have remained over time. One important point is that warnings can sometimes come from outside established institutions. When criticism becomes uncomfortable, questioning the person's motives can be easier than addressing the substance of one simply being a celebrity. His position became part of the infrastructure through which opportunities could develop. Being close to his circle could provide access, advancement, and protection, while staying outside that circle could create obstacles or delays. Justin Bieber's proximity also reflects a wider industry model in which opportunities can depend heavily on powerful individuals rather than transparent systems. In these kinds of arrangements, oversight can become inconsistent and selective. The larger question is not only what can be proven, but what kinds of situations were allowed to develop. When someone's career depends on access to powerful people, how freely can meaningful boundaries actually be maintained?
Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, he could buy you one also.
Got me a Lamborghini. And
Yeah. Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television. Well, apparently not. Something, everything ain't for everybody.
Do you believe the guy in the tape is white?
If he's bigger than Diddy, and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right. Not at all. And somebody that more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? And they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, he was an A-lister, he was younger. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber, allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had a tape with another man, did that catch you by surprise or not?
Well, all this shit is by surprise to me. A lot of this shit is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff, I knew Puff Daddy.
Years earlier, Usher publicly spoke about entering Diddy's world as a teenager and later described being exposed to adult realities before he was emotionally prepared for them. This is relevant because it comes from the public record rather than simple rumor. When comparable experiences appear across different generations of young artists, it becomes more difficult to dismiss every similarity as coincide.
I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the diddler, he's the diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of shit, and whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is crazy. But this is the world that we live in now, man. That these individuals thinks is all right. Bruh, when does it comes all right to be sitting there eating food off a naked woman? When did we start doing what they do? Let's keep it a buck. When did we start doing what they do? These guys is popping pills. You got Jay-Z dancing with a chick that's into cannibalism.
The broader concern is a pattern of continuity without meaningful reform, where trust and influence continue moving forward without correcting the underlying structure. If concerns or discomfort were recognized in earlier cases, why did similar environments remain in place for the next generation of young art?
Might make you change your mind. Look at Lil Nas X. He fizzled out fast too.
So would you say someone like Justin Bieber is a victim? I just seen he is reportedly selling his whole catalog because he's broke.
Yeah. Yeah. And once he finishes getting that money, I don't understand why he's broke. He didn't have to be broke. Usher just wouldn't stop robbing him.
Damn.
I mean, Usher couldn't keep his hands out of his pocket. It's funny. He got him signed and turned over custody to Diddy. Boy was never the same, and neither was Usher's pockets, because Usher's been living off of Justin Bieber's money. He ain't been living off of his own. Because the truth is, Usher don't really make that kind of money. And I'm really just kind of sick and tired of Usher.
Yeah,
I'm really kind of disgusted with Usher Raymond, who does Greek wrestling nude with men over Frosted Flakes, allegedly. Like, I'm sick and tired of this guy who everyone knows got the Diddy bumps, who's been sued for passing them off and lost, is still sitting there disgracing women in front of their men who bought the tickets to like that whole scheme.
He's causing a lot of divorce courts.
Yeah, but why? He don't even want them. He don't want them women. He's literally doing it just to destroy relationships.
As scrutiny surrounding Diddy increased, people responded in very different ways. Some spoke carefully, others chose complete silence, while 50 Cent continued pushing his narrative forward. That contrast highlights an uncomfortable reality within powerful industries. Staying silent can protect access, while speaking openly can create serious risks. Loyalty and self-preservation can eventually become difficult to distinguish. The deeper issue is structural, a system where keeping quiet may be rewarded more than revealing uncomfortable information. If silence becomes the safest choice, then where does accountability ultimately?
A video of an interview of Justin Bieber, and he was talking about Billie Eilish. And he was like, he was broke, almost in tears. He's like, I just want to protect her. I just want to keep her safe.
Yeah.
What do you think he went through?
Because he knows what's been happening to Billie. Just like everybody knew what was happening to Millie Bobby Brown girl with Drake. These people are monsters.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just ain't real thing. Real life street star. You know what time it is. Jermaine Dupri said something interesting. He said the reason that R&B isn't as powerful as it is anymore is because children are going to church.
Yeah.
What is it about the transfer from the spiritual to the secular do you believe that's what made R&B so powerful?
Understand this. Rhythm and blues was a combination of gospel and soul music. Because soul music has always been around in one form or another. It's just evolved throughout the years. And you got gospel, rhythm and blues. That's what put that together. That's why they made such a big stink about the Ray Charles incorporating gospel sounds into secular music. Because they wanted people to separate the two. This is demon, this is good. The truth is none of that's real. There is no bad, there is no good. There is what is and there is what is not. And that's sad. But when you take the spirit that comes from that.
Justin Bieber has not publicly accused Diddy of criminal conduct, but his later reflections provide an emotional perspective that makes the story more complicated. He has discussed anxiety, confusion, and feeling a lack of control during important years of his development while surrounded by adults with different interests. These comments do not establish criminal wrongdoing. They describe the impact of his experiences. In many situations, harm does not immediately appear as a direct accusation. Sometimes it becomes visible years later through its consequences. If those effects emerge long after the original experiences, without one specific incident being identified, how should an industry address its responsibility?
Just testified against Diddy to the grand jury and had to give up 8 videotapes to the feds that contained celebrities in these freak-offs with Diddy, is now listing some of the names that he saw on these tapes. And this man said that he got these tapes from a very close friend of Kim Porter's, and these were Kim Porter's tapes that she was going to use against Diddy. And some of the names that he says are some that we have heard rumored over the years. He said he saw Justin Bieber on this tape and he appeared to be underage during this time. He also saw Usher on these tapes and Usher definitely appeared to be underage. And this one gave me the chills because we've heard that Usher is the one that sent Justin Bieber to Diddy. Courtney Burgess sat down with the Too Strong channel here on YouTube and started naming some of the celebrities that he saw on these tapes.
Were kids involved in these parties that you can verify from looking at the tapes?
If Justin Bieber was older than he's supposed to have been, yes. If Usher was older, well, Usher was definitely young.
Okay.
You understand? It showed the part with his, the blood was all in his bed. You understand? It looked like they came home from a event, a party or something.
Went on to explain how Danny Boy was also in one of these videos with Mary J. Blige and Diddy together. And Danny Boy admitted when he was 15 that Mary J. Blige flew him out to New York and he slept with her while he was on.
Once allegations involving Diddy moved into formal legal proceedings, the discussion shifted away from speculation and toward established legal processes. Courts determine what claims can be made and what evidence can properly be considered. Legal proceedings focus on specific conduct and evidence, however, while broader questions about industry culture and enabling structures may remain. The distinction is important. Something being addressed legally does not automatically resolve every ethical or structural concern surrounding it. When a legal case reaches its conclusion, should the examination of the systems that surrounded it end as well?
Mary J. Danny Boy,
okay.
You know what Danny Boy is?
I heard that before. I don't, I've been so far away from hip hop, I forgot, but I have heard that name, Danny Boy.
Danny Boy, back then, he looked like he was about 16. They both was about.
He also claimed that Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son, were in these videos, and he also said that there was photographs and videos of Diddy eating off of young girls.
Pictures or images of any of this stuff?
Yeah, I got Justin Bieber, Will Smith's son, whatever his name is. Other females on the table, they was young. He was eating off them. A lot of entertainments. And then I got calls from certain of them wanted to get the tape out of my hand. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about.
And I had said that if this man testified to the grand jury, the feds had to have some reason to bring him in to actually testify against Diddy. But y'all let me know what you guys think about this man naming all of the people on the Diddy tapes in the comments.
The connection between 50 Cent, Diddy, and Justin Bieber highlights a broader pattern in which power tends to move upward, vulnerability moves downward, and accountability often comes later. Young talent can be presented as authenticity, access can be described as mentorship, and silence can be treated as professionalism. This is not necessarily a story built on certainty, but on recurring conditions that appear over time. If the same structure continues creating similar tensions, eventually the question becomes whether the system itself deserves more attention than any individual case.
Now, do you think he has a mole or an informant in his camp that's cooperating?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Listen, bro. Just doing law enforcement myself, just take for instance. I think the individual was a Syracuse former basketball player named Jason Barnes or Beard or something like that. He already had drug charges against him. The day Diddy house get raided, they catch him getting on a plane and they put him into custody. Didn't that sound a little weird? People didn't catch that. They either put him in custody for a couple of reasons. You understand? One, to make a witness out of him, or to safeguard him and protect him for anything that could happen to him, because they had already stated, allegedly, that he was some kind of mule for the people over there at Diddy's house. So now, with that information, that he was already known by the government for drug charges, wouldn't that be an individual that you use? I'm gonna give you something different. And I'm gonna give you something else that people don't even think. On the other day, I seen on the video that Puff had ran into Justin Bieber. They met up, and he started tapping him as if he was searching him and see if he had some kind of device on. Did you see that?
Yep.
Check this out. What if the federal government have already talked to Justin Bieber? And Diddy did that on tape. That means in his mind, he thinks this person may be a witness. Right?
Investigative documentaries are not courts, and they do not determine guilt or innocence. What they can do is keep difficult questions alive when institutions might otherwise move on. What emerges here is not definitive proof of every claim, but a picture of imbalance that remained largely unchallenged until public attitudes began to change. Power can operate smoothly when it is protected by success and surrounded by spectacle, while scrutiny remains in the background. Systems rarely disappear because of one scandal alone. They can survive because people collectively hesitate to question them. And when the story ends, the final question remains: who makes sure the same cycle does not simply begin again?